January the 28th, 2017. Guys, in last night's video, one of the subjects was the new executive order from President Trump barring refugees, temporarily barring them from some countries 90 days, some countries 120 days, depending on where it's at. But it said that President Trump's executive order closing the nation's border to refugees was put into immediate effect Friday night. Refugees who were in the air on the way to the U.S. when the orders were signed were stopped and detained at the airports. I don't think they're letting people board overseas right now. The detentions prompted legal challenges as lawyers representing 2 Iraqi refugees held at Kennedy Airport filed a writ of habeas corpus early Saturday in the Eastern District of New York, seeking to have their clients released. At the same time, they filed a motion for class certification. Here's your typical lawyers, and these are Democratic Hillary ACLU lawyers, in an effort to represent all refugees and immigrants who said they were being unlawfully detained at ports of entry. We'll take a look at this. It gets better. President Trump's order, which suspends entry of all refugees to the U.S. for 120 days, created a legal limbo for individuals on the way to the U.S. and panic for families who were waiting for their arrival. Mr. Trump's order also stops the admission of refugees from Syria indefinitely, and it bars entry into the U.S. for 90 days from 7 predominantly Muslim countries linked to concerns about terrorism. Guys, it's only fair. Those countries are Iraq, Syria, Iran, Sudan, Libya, Somalia, and Yemen. Guys, Iran wants to blow us off the map. Don't you think we should vet them? And for you guys that want to come on and troll this video, good luck with that. It was unclear how many refugees and immigrants were being held nationwide in the aftermath of the executive order. The complaints were filed by a prominent group including the American Civil Liberties Union, the International Refugee Assistance Program at the Urban Justice Center, and the National Immigration Law Center, Yale Law School's Jerome N. Frank Legal Services, and firm Kilpatrick, Townsend, and Stockton. Guys, good luck with that. I hope you do well. If you're, some of these organizations, guys, I don't think will make it, but for a couple more months in this new United States that we've taken back. The lawyer said that one of the Iraqis detained at Kennedy Airport had worked on behalf of the U.S. government in Iraq for 10 years. The other was coming to the United States to join his wife, who had worked for a U.S. contractor, and son. They said both men were detained at the airport Friday night after arriving on separate flights. They're going to vet everyone. The attorney said they were not allowed to meet with their clients, and there were tense moments as they tried to reach them. Guys, this is the best part. And I wish I had been there to hear this, but he said there was tense moments. And he said, "Who's the person we need to talk to?" asked one of the lawyers. Mark Doss. Mark Doss, you're marked. Supervising attorney at the International Refugee Assistance Project. What are you doing? You hired by Obama and Clinton? Mr. President, said a Customs and Border Protection agency who declined to identify himself. He said, call Mr. Trump. That's who you talk to. The executive order, which Mr. Trump said was part of an extreme vetting plan to keep out radical Islamic terrorists, also established a religious test for refugees from Muslim nations. He ordered that Christians and others from minority religions be granted priority. That's completely backwards from the last 8 years. As we've seen Christians murdered around this planet trying to get in, very few were allowed. And then thousands and thousands of unvetted other people were allowed in. It was a Muslim attack on the Christian nation and the Christian world. Now the Christians have a refuge. It's called the United States. In the arrival halls at Terminal 4 of Kennedy Airport, Mr. Doss and 2 other lawyers felt fatigue as they tried to learn the status of their clients on the other side of the security perimeter. Pushing those pencils is very tiring, and I'm sure we never had an outcome. We've never had an issue once one of our clients was at a port of entry. Mr. Doss said, well, see, that is your problem, Mr. Doss. To see people being detained indefinitely in the country that's supposed to welcome them is a total shock. Why are we supposed to welcome them? I don't understand that. It's some type of Hillary speak and Obama speak. These are people with valid visas and legitimate refugee claims who have already been determined by the State Department, who? Hillary and John Kerry, and the Department of Homeland Security, whose leader is gone, and to be allowed to enter the U.S. now are being unlawfully detained, Mr. Doss said. Mr. Doss, you're going to be a very busy man until your license are taken. Because if you don't realize where this country's going, you're way behind times. And what the people like the ACLU guys and the Clintonites and the Obamanites, what they don't understand in their dark, evil minds, and I'm going to say it just like it is that if the United States had not stopped this takeover, the entire planet was doomed. Europe is in a mess because of the refugees. Merkel is going to lose the election over the refugees. But America has stood tall. We now are a Christian nation again, whether you like it or not. And I've said this before, guys. I'm not prejudiced. And you can help people, but then when you help them and then they start blowing stuff up and killing people in nightclubs and going crazy over some ideology that says their religion is the only way, then you need to keep that religion in your country and do what you want to with it. But when you come over here and if you expect to be welcomed here, don't come in throwing your ideas, your religious doctrine, and the way you abuse women on us. We don't do that here. They get to have license. They get to drive cars. They get to dress the way they want to. You can't cut their heads off. We don't have honor killings. Mr. Doss, what did the guy tell you? He said, call the boss. It's a heads up. Be safe.